Well, welcome everybody to today's exciting episode. We have a really exciting guest, Suresh Subbu. He's a seasoned technology executive, a passionate techpreneur, and an investor. He's served as a board member, a co-founder, and advisor for several innovative startups and projects that leverage the power and potential of blockchain and AI. So, Suresh, welcome.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for this opportunity and happy to be here.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And for those of you just joining the podcast, we at Strativa AI help businesses scale their revenue over 12 months using AI. And so if you want to learn how to take your business to the next level, make sure you stick around for future episodes here. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, just drop a message in the DMs and we'll follow up there. So, Suresh, can you tell us a bit about yourself, what your role is at your various positions, and just what got you started in this field?
Sure. I envision that AI could act proactively like a capable teammate. Think like AI is a coworker of yours, the digital coworker of yours.
For sure.
So this thought led me to create Extreme AI, where we are building agentic AI through Extreme AI framework, which will act autonomous, which can plan, execute, and adapt independently, with the mission to democratize intelligent automation and make it accessible to all the enterprise, regardless of the technical skill gaps they may have.
What are some examples of the other enterprises?
The examples, this particular product. Are you asking about the product, or are you asking about my past experience on the verticals?
Well, certainly about the product. Yeah.
So this particular product is, vertical neutral, which means any business vertical can adapt this product. They can just take our framework, drop in their IT ecosystem, and it will help them mature their workflows, their site reliability engineering, DevOps. Ideally, any level 1 or level 2 skills can be addressed by the Extreme AI agents, and it can be a banking customer, it can be a manufacturing customer or a retail customer. So any organization which runs with the power of IT infrastructure, or let's say on cloud, our platform will help them at least gain productivity by 60 to 80%.
And how does it get trained uniquely to whatever that company's ideals are?
See, in a traditional deal structure or traditional marketing pitch, it's like when, let's say, take a call center as an example, right?
Okay.
Contact center as an example. You bring in chatbots that will give you a productivity gain about 20%. Similar to it, think about help desk monitoring systems, network, or people who develop code and deploy into our create CI/CD pipelines. There are individual agents which drives bots where the level 1 and level 2 type of repetitive tasks are automated as they learn the ecosystem, and it will go through an approval process like a proper change controls, so that it is getting deployed with the right governance and right oversight.
And is that governance and oversight something that is done like on your side of it or on the user's side of it, or both?
That will be done by the customer organization. We create, and then ideally the change controls will always stay, or it will get retained within the customer organization, because as automation and artificial intelligence, by name itself, it is artificial, right? It requires a little bit of supervision as well as validation before we deploy. So that validation will happen through the architects of the application, or it can be the VPs or directors who lead that particular business division will approve. Once if they approve, then it will automatically deploy as and when they identify any faults or failures or errors in the system.
I see. And is the platform built on a specific LLM, or is it a group of them that get employed depending on the use?
Let me answer it in two parts. It's not only the LLM independent, it can work with any LLM protocols.
Uh-huh.
Because nowadays, any modern organization, they would have went through certain review process. They would have approved, for example, some would have approved Llama, some may have been using OpenAI, because everyone is into chat GPT. So based on the corporate's approved LLM framework, we will leverage their LLM, but our differentiator is more on transformers and prompt engineering techniques, which will drive insights and agent behaviors. So
Hmm.
we do not eliminate any of the customers' existing ecosystem or applications unless we see that there is a duplication or
Uh-huh.
there is no need for them to spend on that. So their ITSM layer, their SRE layer and tools, their LLMs, as well as the data ingestion models, right? There is an option where we will deploy our own model, or we can leverage the customer models and work upwards towards building these agents.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it is neutral, and we can work with any LLMs, for the matter of fact.
Got it. Got it. Okay, Suresh. And so in regards to extreme AI, like how big is it right now? Like I don't know, either in terms of revenue or team size or yeah, just what's the reach?
See, at this point of time, we are working on a stealth mode, because we are working on a couple of patents, getting the
Huh?
executive leaderships, and we have closely about like 16 to 18 research candidates who work on our products and protocols.
Uh,
So I would say we are at the initial stage
hmm.
um, of any startup per se. When it comes to adaption and implementation of the product, that can happen pretty quick, as low as like 30 days, all it takes to onboard a customer to fit into my framework. And then the rest, it is an evolution and the journey with the customer, so that we kind of provide them the ROI and the business case which we are trying to solve.
And do you have an ideal business case or cases group that you're in search of?
It's like an ocean.
It
So
totally is like an ocean, right?
See, for example, in healthcare, right? RCM
Yeah.
segment itself, there is medical transcriptions, right? Where there is a lot of manual work, and every year it is getting outsourced, like monotonous job done by
Yeah.
like any coders. Or in hospitals, pre-approvals or pre-authorizations with banking, anything to do with compliance checks or KYCs, or like any vulnerability checks from a security posture standpoint across any vertical. So there are a lot of business cases, but with extreme AI, we kind of narrowed it down to 7 agents by layer: one at a security layer, one at a DevOps and SecOps layer, the other one for infrastructure and cloud, the other one for testing. So we have
Uh,
like several agents which we are evolving. At this point of time, we will cover all the 7 layers of OSI, which from security till delivery of the product, which is the web layer, which is the front end,
yeah.
where the consumer will be using it.
Yeah, yeah, the front facing part. Sure, sure. Okay. And so yeah, it sounds as though you're basically ready to deploy. And at this stage, are you all self-funded or do you have VC that you're looking at? Where are you in that in terms of leverage?
From the current state standpoint, we are at almost close to reaching out to VCs, which the board and the executives will decide whether we need to do it.
Hmm.
And most of the time in such AI startups, it is a co-evolution with the customer, right? The moment we kind of, get into consulting model, the customer gets on board, we try to solve the problem, then we evolve it with the customer. So there is an opportunity to get revenue even before getting the funding, but
Sure.
that's an executive decision we need to make later.
Right, right. Yeah, and it's important to maintain a level of flexibility so to see where you can best serve and then maybe deepen things on what you're delivering as well. And then of course, yeah, if you need VC or something around that to help it go even deeper, then you guys judge that as you go.
Get engaged when we want to scale at a very large extent, right?
Right.
When we are doing research, filing patents, testing the waters, at this point of time, we need the pilot customers to work with us.
Yeah.
so that uh, all the bases are covered. And once if we have the hunger and the energy to, I think it's all about matter of 3 to 4 months to get to that point where we will grow exponentially.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you say then are your goals for growing your business over the next 12 months?
Probably I would be looking at 4 to 5 million. Even if I just focus on a small and medium scale business, if I get enterprise customers on board based on the experience and the capable members we have in the board as well as the leadership layer, I would be surprised if we are like less than 8 to 10 million by end of this year.
Exciting. What cultural or organizational barriers have you encountered when presenting your various AI solutions, and how have you addressed them?
It's the sentiment, right? So most of the time when we take the solution, either the if it is a tech person, they would assume that hey, it is another blue prism or like UI path kind of automation. Those are process automation leaders where the purpose of those tools are different. Here we are trying to solve the core um, IT support issues. It can be like your service desk can be optimized by like 80% when it comes to that productivity, or your monitoring team can be like, put for better use. They can, do SRE stuff rather than looking into the monitor like 24 by 7 so
Right.
that, and sometimes even human errors happens, right? There is a hit and miss most of the time. When we have this AI bots, there is no miss there. We will be always be proactive. It will address, it will look at the thresholds. It will automatically readjust the thresholds if it needs to. That's how the agentic comes into play.
Hmm.
So to answer your question, most of the time it is about, is this going to take away the jobs, right?
Right.
I think not. It will put the human brains for better purpose. In certain occasions, there is a misconception that yours is an AI tool. It is a plug and play model, right? Ideally, plug and play will not be realistic because every customer's ecosystem is very different. The tool,
Indeed.
process, everything
Yeah.
is different. The AI has to learn the ways of working, the standard operating procedures, the knowledge articles, their ecosystem, the tools. As they learn, it will start giving the productivity gains we create as a business. Ideally, there's a due diligence phase. It has to get trained by yourself, and then the AI will do its part. We can leverage the existing workforce for like better engineering work or like high
Yep.
skilled labor per
Yep.
se.
Yep. And so, how do you approach aligning those initiatives, like in regards to what the company's business, like a different, say a customer, potential customer of yours, their business objectives, so that you're like effectively ensuring growth, right? Like measurable growth. How do you align that with them? You're kind of I don't know if you'd be like just giving them the assurance of things.
Great question, Mark. This is where the confidence come into play. So we start with identifying the most friction process. I have been told by one of my mentor that do not go sell what you have, sell what the customer needs. So
Yeah,
in order to
yeah.
know what the customer needs, we need to identify their pain. For example, let's say insurance vertical or let's say retail vertical. Invoice processing is one area which it is highly resource intensive.
Mm.
So what we do is, we once we identified that high friction process, we deploy a targeted agent, and then the agent will train observing what the resource is doing and how can we do it better, or is there a standard operating procedure. And then we will measure the ROI, the time versus cost savings. As we measure it, we scale. And it's not only the scaling does not in that journey, right? We need to continuously maintain see if it makes real sense for ROI, because AI requires resources. You are spending server, network, storage, everything is getting consumed when you are replacing a manual task. So we will look at the ROI, and in order to get the confidence, we create metrics, right? The metrics which tracks the efficiency, like a task speed, or like effectiveness towards the customer satisfaction metrics or revenue impact metrics. In general, for an instance, logistic clients are like asked to track order to delivery time. We will see how do we reduce that order to delivery time. We will align on a KPI or an SLA.
I see.
Let's say that we take about 35% after automation, which means that the customer is happy, the ROI is met, at the same time the business case is already sold. And the KPIs must ladder up to the strategic goals like revenue growth or compliance. So it should be like really meaningful and the key priority to customer. That is something we always keep in mind when we engage with any AI initiatives, working with the customers on their business objectives.
And so is this basically a SaaS that where you have seats available for each of your customers and their staff within their company? Is that what it turns out being? Or?
The model is hybrid.
Uh-huh.
My customer can get my entire framework, which is like it will cover their entire IT ecosystem. It will say it will become the heart of the IT infrastructure to serve all the needs. Or my customer can subscribe for a particular agent or a bot where it will fit for the purpose. Right? If there is a pain area, let's say compliance is the most important area for a customer, or that is their
Sure.
priority for any customer. If that is the case, I have a compliance agent, we'll drop them. Then it will look at the vulnerabilities, it will look at market data, it will look at the scans, see where you are lagging, and then it will advise the customer. Not only advise, it will also propose a fix. If the customer agrees, they will drop. So it is a subscription based model when it comes to any bots and agents. The framework is a managed services model where we kind of align with SLAs, KPIs, and pretty much walk that journey with the customer rather than choosing a prescribed service. It's like our health, right? It's like we go to the doctor, doctor prescribes for what is the deficiency he has identified, not
Certainly,
like
yes. Certain condition.
we can
Yeah.
always be proactive. But
Right.
it's the proactiveness is through the framework. Fit for the need is through subscription of my agents and agentic bots.
And how do you balance the interaction between the agentic side of things with humans?
So as I said, the governance layer is human. On top of it, anything to do with review and sign off on the outcome of a bot,
Of the
that is
output?
still
Sure.
human. Someone has to validate, right? Even though, even if human is doing, still you have financial auditor who will come and validate whether your controls are right, whether you have so that
And
validation,
who on whose side is checking for that relevance? You or
it
your
would be the
customer?
customer side.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
It would be the customer side. There will be enough logs, metrics to validate. So at the end of the day, it is the customer's environment. They have to also stay in compliant with certain compliance norms, let's say GDPR, PCI, SOC. So we will try to address the problem, but the outcome will get validated by the customer SMEs.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And what do you foresee the primary obstacles as being in regards to businesses and when they're scaling using AI solutions? And like what resources do you think are missing in order to attain the level of automation that you see as potentially capable?
In general, the observation is the fragmented data in their ecosystem and the
Yeah,
governance gaps are the top blockers or obstacles, I would say. And most of the customers have legacy systems, right?
yeah, yeah.
The legacy systems, there is always a delay in understanding the legacy systems because we would have inherited certain code or the product features over a period of time, And in order to fix or learn, the more customization it is, it takes more time to learn. Let's say about 4 to 5 months in some cases, where you are into mainframes or
Yeah.
more applications. So from the market standpoint, as I said, there is, everyone speaks about data streaming, but there is no unified data lakes. I have worked for banking customers. I have worked for retail customers. If you look at it, there is no one clean data anywhere. And the cross platform ingestion that creates more clutter. So
Mm.
that's why I said, either the solution can work with the existing customers data, where it will clean, cleanse, and create its own, or it will engage at the host layer, and then it will automatically create ingestion mechanisms by our own protocol. And the second part is, vendor agnostic governance frameworks is something which lacks. And our platform is no code, low code. It is built on
Mm.
RABs. And as the industry standards are evolving, we will keep adding the controls. But for
Mhm.
now, as we are building the solution and ecosystem, all the required primary controls are being met, and it can be validated and tested by the customer.
Yeah, that continual the feedback loop is so
Feedback.
important.
Yes.
Right. And what about internally in regards to your own processes? What have you done to automate your own business? And are there specific tools or platforms that you have found to be most useful in regards to that?
See, in my framework, I have one agent which is like an automatic code generator. In simple words, if I am giving an objective, or if I am taking an existing code dropping in, it will give me the best possible outcome uh,
Uh-huh.
with code. So we can replace it, the existing libraries, the intricacies. As I am developing couple of my modules, I use those agents. So actually, we use it in the layers we need. But as we are creating this as an ecosystem, it requires intensive development. For example, sometimes if we integrate with Grafana, we need to do certain configuration. The JSONs can be automatically written by my tool, but I have to go validate. Most of the agents we develop, we try to test it in our ecosystem. Ideally, my particular solution is not for lead generation, marketing, spamming emails, or anything of that sort. The purpose is to build an core IT ecosystem which is more efficient. The speed to market as well as the speed to deliver, provide the best customer experience is the goal. So it will fit the enterprise infrastructure. In order to do it, my Dockers are automated. It will automatically span instances. The libraries we use can be repurposed in any customer ecosystem. So as we develop, we also test it within our internal controls, and we try to make use of it as much as we can. For example, interviewing process. If I need to look at the pros and cons of a candidate, it will automatically give me. It will not go through any traditional ATS systems in order to screen whether the candidate is a good fit. So it will actually read through my objectives, my transformers, and my prompts are like the key in order to get me the required outcome. So there are various ways we will adapt, or
Mhm.
we are adapting as we speak today. But